So I said I wasn't going to have much time to read this week, and um, today I read the end of chapter 14, and then I read 15, 16, 17, and I just read 18. So I'm just full of it, aren't I? That's the that's the what we know, right? And I'm probably going to read 19 and finish sub book 3 tonight. Now, I put my highlighter down and my pen down because ain't nobody got time for that. I want to see what's going to happen. Roulad's got a, no, not Roulad. Troll's got a demon friend named Lilac. And Troll, finally, we're starting to see what he did. Maybe a little bit, at least some steps towards it. I like that, he's sowing dissension, but he's not so much sowing dissension. He fears the person who is behind Roulad. He's seeing that something very, very bad has happened, obviously. He's seeing that even though Roulad, everyone's knelt to Roulad, that Roulad also is a pawn in all this, and that's what Troll fears. He does not want to bow the knee to this unknown entity or whatever, which we know as the crippled god. Now, I am into this Warren. When people keep dying and they wash up on shore on the crippled god's Warren, that's very cool. I just am burning through it now. I just can't wait to get to the end of this and see what happens. Now, there are some things which I thought we were going to get from this book that is not exactly hitting or landing for me. Even though I'm ripping through it as quick, I don't know if I'm enjoying it quite as much as Memories of Ice and also with House of Chains. But I do love Troll, so I'm just wanting to get to what the heck he did. I'm wanting to get to the flippin' epilogue. I want to get to that. Or the epilogue of House of Chains. I want it to match up with that. Now, I love Bugg. I'll say that. I love Bugg. And I liked T-Hole. The other one. But he hasn't landed for me every time. I thought I would like him more. I do think he's funny, but it's mostly because I just think Bugg is funny, sort of. Not a ton has made me laugh out loud with T-Hole, except for this one part where he goes out and he's like, "Oh, who's that person cursing in all these different languages and da da da, and just being profane?" He's like, "Oh, that's my manservant. That's Bugg." And I just think Bugg is a pro. I still like T-Hole, but I haven't really loved his stuff in Lethargy or, this all of his ventures and things like. It kind of is just, I don't know. I think in a second read, maybe it would land a little harder for me, but I'm kind of disappointed that it's just not as interesting as I was, It is interesting, but it's just not the part that is turning the page for me. Things that are turning the page for me, Bugg is at the center of it, so I guess it is. Bugg's turning the page for me. All this stuff with Roulad, and really it's Troll, wanting to know what's happening with Troll. That's turning the pages. Learning more. Every time the Sita comes into view. Every time Bryce. I really like Bryce. It's all of the stuff with the holds. It's learning about this stuff with the deaths that are happening and wondering, it's this seventh closure or whatever. There's just so many webs of things happening. The nameless one, being a part of Kettle or whatever. I'm reading so fast now that obviously more and more is going to go over my head. I might need somebody at the end of this book to sit me down and to explain some of the significance behind a lot of this that is kind of going over my head. I'm not spending time on each of these things, pondering stuff. I'm just flipping through because I'm liking it. I'm liking it as just a interesting war. This is an amazing war against the Letheri and the Edur and all this stuff going on. Oh, who was the guy who also prayed to Mael? Who's at the end of one of these chapters behind. I'm really liking it, guys. I imagine, even though I said I probably wasn't going to get to any of it, I bet I'll be done this book this weekend, if I'm being honest. And I've had a super busy week, dropping people off and things, but I would read in the car, just trying to get 45 minutes in and an hour in. For lunchtime, I was eating and I was doing that. I got up a little bit early to read. It's crazy. Trying to think if I'm missing anything. This war has been really, really cool. And I'm thinking that with how angry Trull is making Fear in kind of voicing his doubts, I'm guessing that maybe Fear is going to be the one that we find dead from Memories of Ice. But I don't know. And I'm just, man, I am so looking forward to what happens with the trial or whatever that sends Trull there, and seeing what happens. I don't know if we're going to get some resolution from the end of House of Chains with Trull's storyline, or if that's going to be for another book. It'll kill me if it's another book and it's not some of that here. But it is a 10-book series, and I took a look at I saw how big Bone Hunters is. I'll just say that. And man, these flipping books are massive. Some of these. So it seems like even though I'm halfway 1 to 10, I probably only going to be 40% of the way there or 30% of the way there with how big these last books look. But anyway, now I'm just rambling. I am on Discord. Come hang out there. And I'll see you soon. I really thought I wasn't going to have any time. Turns out I'm either a big fat liar or I'm full of it. But I'm just excited. I usually read this fast. Usually read a few chapters a day when I'm into a book. And I'm really into this one. So I'll talk to you later.